Well, Nick, congratulations on an amazing weekend at Timaru. I know everybody says nothing's ever perfect, but from your point of view, just three fabulous races, given where you qualified as well.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. The races went very well for me. I struggled a little bit in qualifying. I really had to pull a good lap out to get myself onto the second row of the grid, but we were able to make the most of it. And coming into the weekend, we were very strong on points. But it's a long championship. I can't get too excited, and I've still got a lot of things to work on and a couple of mistakes I still made. So moving forward, I think we can be strong, but always looking to go one stronger.
Nick, can you just give us some idea of what that car is like to drive? And you drove it last year. You were in the series last year, and in addition to that,
Yes.
you've done a spell in Europe now, just as a reward for your success in the previous year. How does it compare with, for example, with a 2 liter Formula Renault car?
I actually found it quite similar. I didn't have much time in the 2 liter Renault when I was in Europe, but I do find that the Toyota series car is a little bit lighter. You can move it around a little bit more. But because of the power to weight ratio and the aero that it has, it's quite twitchy in that you can drive the car a little bit on the rear tires, but you also got to be careful about tire life and that sort of thing. So the engine and torque in the car is very good, but it's still quite similar to the Renault.
Well, it's from where we sit in Europe. It's easy to say, but it looks like a very intensive series. You're rushing from one circuit to another every weekend for a start, and beyond that, there are three races. And it's incredibly competitive as well. So, I guess from your point of view, you're getting a massive amount of experience in a very short period of time.
Yeah, exactly. And this year, even more competitive, even more drivers, which is perfect for a guy like me who I'm still quite inexperienced. I need more time in the car, in my opinion. And I believe that every time I jump in the car, I'm still improving. So, we're in a 5 week period at the moment. We're in the car 4 out of 7 days. I'm at a stage now where I've got 3 days off, and those 3 days are spent, just preparing for the next event. So you're right, it is pretty intense.
Well, I'm a little bit older than you, I've got to say that, but I grew up in the great days of the Tasman series in the 60s. I never got to New Zealand, but I was in Australia. And I guess there is a bit of a feel of that Tasman series in what you're doing now. And obviously, the series started at Teretonga, which is one of the great Tasman circuits. Can you just give us an idea of the atmosphere and how much time you actually can spend with the other guys, perhaps having a bit of fun?
Yeah, well, you're exactly right in saying that. I was actually reading through a book the other day, and I'm looking at a newspaper of Bruce McLaren winning the 1963 Teretonga race in the Trans Tasman series, and so for Toyota to sort of embark on those sort of days and replicate that is huge. And I've always followed, not followed as such, but looked at the McLarens, the Amons, and the Denny Holmes. So for that to happen is great for New Zealand motorsport. And then we're also finding that the drivers in the series, there's only 4 teams or 5 teams, so we've got a large amount of drivers in our team. Most of us all get along, and we're friends off the track as well. So it's a great atmosphere.
Speaking as a layman, obviously, in the way that series is structured, can you just explain how that team system works? How do you choose the team you're going to be with, and what happens to those teams once the series is over?
Yeah, well, I don't think in terms of once the series is over, much happens. Most of these teams run purely for the Toyota Racing Series. Toyota own most of the cars, so we lease our cars off Toyota, and then I was in contact with Stephen Giles, who runs Giles Motorsport,
Hmm.
before the series last year, and he got me in and asked me to drive for him, which was a huge honour considering he'd just won the last 2 championships. Now he's won 3 in a row, so I need to make it 4 this year.
Well, you're going in the right direction for that, no doubt about that, Nick. Um, it looks as if New Zealand is, maybe it's because of this series, and one has to give credit to Toyota for that. It looks as if there is a resurgence in New Zealand now. We've had Mitch Evans, we've got Richie Stanaway, and now you're doing very well too. How do you see 2012 panning out for you now, assuming things go as well as they could in this championship?
Yeah, well, I'm really not so sure. I've put a lot of effort into this championship because at this stage it's my one thing that I've got for 2012. So I need to do a good job and show that I'm capable of mixing it up with these European drivers to try secure something in Europe. It's been my goal to get to Formula One, and I see the next step is to get to Europe in 2012 and try to prove myself. But I need to do a good job here first to get the opportunity.
Well, continue to do that. Next race, Taupo, tell us a little bit about that and what the circuit's like there.
Yeah, it's quite a nice track. The first two we've been to have been under 3 kilometres. Taupo's 4.5, so it's a little bit longer. It's quite narrow, so it's still quite technical. But I think we find all of the tracks in New Zealand are quite different. So even though we race at 5 tracks, I don't think any of them are very similar. We might see a bit of passing at Taupo, I think, but also there'll be a bigger difference between drivers and teams, so it'll be interesting.
Nice to see a few of those trophies up behind you there on the shelf there, Nick. I guess most of those are karting, right? What age did you start in karts?
Yeah, I wasn't actually meant to put that there. I started when I was 6, and so I started, like you say, Mitch Evans, so raced with him since I was 6 years old. We both went to we're 13. Also, Tom Blancas is another guy, raced with us in karting, so we've all grown up together, and it's been quite a competitive environment.
I was very impressed to see in your CV you did a bit of speedway as well, I think at the age of 8.
Yeah, well, I did 1 year of speedway, which sort of gave me taught me car control a lot.
Yeah.
And then for the last 2 years, not this year, but in previous 2, I went back and did seasons again. It was a little bit on the side, and you learn different aspects of driving, which is quite good. But this year, I think I've stopped just to focus on the Toyota Racing Series and try to do the best job I can.
Well, very best of luck with that, Nick. I'm sure you'll continue to go from success to success. Hope to talk to you again very soon, and best of luck upcoming race this weekend in Taupo. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much, Peter, and thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, mate. Thank you.